to the 10th season of The Author's Corner with H.D. Campbell. Each show is filled with news, reviews, technology, and interviews with authors and artists throughout the industry, with a surprise or two. And now, as always, here is our host, H.D. Campbell. Coming up on today's Author's Corner, on The Author's Corner with H.D. Campbell. And as always, let your writing fuel your spirit. Hi, welcome to The Author's Corner with H.D. Campbell. As always, I'm your host, H.D. Campbell. It is the 15th of April, meaning it's not only tax day, but it's my wedding anniversary. So throughout the show, I will show you images of a blissful marriage, of a wonderful woman. Tara Campbell, she is awesome. When I married her, that was the best day of my life. And yes, I am so happy. In fact, I will definitely have pictures and music going out of break as well as out of this show. Now, in addition to a dedication to an amazing woman, I have two amazing authors, because this is still the Author's Corner, which I have interviewed. The first one is Sophia Sinclair. She is a wonderful author of the Small Town Secret series. Next, we have local author Marianne Meeder, who writes all these wonderful self-help books from a personal standpoint. You'll see what I'm talking about when you see the interview. Now, when we come back after this first dedication and break, we will have Sophia Sinclair.
Won't you share my love? Won't you share my love? Don't just stand around and say I made your life complete. And how
Ever experienced a love for someone so forbidden, feels so wrong, but yet his passion makes you feel oh so right? Even if you have, meet Solomon and Sheba, my award-winning author, Francine Kraft, and experience it all again. Experience the roadblocks of pregnancy, past transgressions, and the deathbed confession threatens the most powerful of romances. Can they survive? By Solomon and Sheba from your favorite bookstore, Amazon, and BarnesandNoble.com.
Are you looking for that one-of-a-kind gift for a loved one, but don't know what to get? Reed Crochet has your back. Let Sharitha crochet you that nice hat, scarf, or that one-of-a-kind item. If you can imagine it, she can crochet it for you. Go to Reed Crochet for more information.
Welcome back. My first author is Sophia Sinclair. She is a wonderful author of the Small Town Secret series. She's a wonderful author with a wonderful good past. She lives in a small town herself, so she really knows what she's talking about, and she knows a lot about small town drama, which she puts in her book. So, without further ado, here she is. Tell me, well, I always like to get started from the beginning. What started you off on the path of writing?
The really funny thing, well, do you mean fiction writing or writing in general?
Just writing in general. Then we'll get to fiction writing.
I was one of these kids that wrote stories even as a kid. I was always writing down my little stories. And in grade school and high school, when we had writing assignments, the teacher would always read mine aloud. And everybody always knew I was going to be a writer. I think somewhere in my yearbook it said I was going to write the great American novel, which have not yet done, but still working on it.
Oh, you will. Trust me. Give it time. You definitely will. So, What gravitated you towards fiction?
The journalism world, as you may know, blew up about a decade ago. I wrote it as long as I could. 2015, part of some mass layoffs. The company I worked for at the time, I was no longer editor of my local daily newspaper. From there, I went into advertising and marketing for a while, and I learned a lot. I'm glad I learned a lot, because to be a writer today means you have to understand advertising and marketing. You can't just write, hand off your manuscript, and expect that somebody else is going to get it in front of the eyes of the readers. So it ended up being a useful background for me. And about a year ago, I guess, I decided, I need to find something after advertising and marketing, because that's also not that stable of an industry. And I ran into someone who is now one of the leaders of my town and local government, and he mentioned that his ex-wife, who used to work for me as my cops reports reporter, was writing romance. And I thought, romance. And he said, yeah, that's where the money is. That's where the readers are. And I thought, I read a lot of romance when I was younger. I hadn't read much of it recently, but I thought, why not? So I brushed up a little bit on my romance reading and started thinking about what kind of books would I like to write, because there's a whole spectrum. You can have romance that is vampire romance, you can have mystery romance, contemporary, Regency, historical. I noticed when you peruse the bookshelves at Barnes & Noble now, you will find a lot of billionaire fantasy novels, and I assume those came after the 50 Shades of Grey franchise. You see a lot of men in kilts, hot Scottish men in kilts, or I guess, and Irish, and that would be Scottish. We can edit this. You see a lot of hot Scottish men in kilts, and I assume that came from Diana Gabaldon's franchise, her Outlander series. And I thought, well, I want to do something different, so what can I do? And I got to thinking, I grew up in a very small town. My small town has 170 people in it. I understand what it's like to live in a small town. And then I was the editor of a small town newspaper, not quite that small, but still a smallish town. So I understand what it's like to live here. And while everybody else is wanting to write about the glamorous life of New York City, I thought, let's write about the lives people live in small towns, because there's more going on in a small town than you would suspect. And my main character, Molly, in book one, Molly's surprise ending, she talks about when she was younger, she had hoped to move to New York and work in book publishing, but it didn't work out that way, and she's the librarian of the small town library. And then, of course, one day a stranger walks into town. We all know how that goes. But all of the books in this series are going to take place in this little town I'm calling Fairview, and I want everybody to imagine that Fairview is somewhere near where they grow, that it's a place where they could go. Every book, you're going to see people having a drink at the local dive bar, the Clipper, where they're going to meet Ashley, the bartender. Ashley's going to get her own book in a few, probably about 2 or 3 books down the line. So we've got the book about Molly. I'm getting ready to release the book about her best friend, Lori. We've already met Lori in Molly's book. Molly's the librarian, Lori's the nurse, and then I realized, you know what, I'm kind of leaning too heavily on these romance tropes. Let's do something different. So the third book, which I'm now writing, is a girl named Katerina, who runs an upholstery shop and has a Romany background, so obviously completely different. She's not a nurse, she's not a library. I don't know of any other romance novels that focus on a woman of gypsy background, or you would say Romany now, who runs her own upholstery shop. But she shows up in books 1 and books 2, so it seemed like a good idea to give herself her own book in chapter 3. And one of her concerns is her small town downtown, because small town downtowns, as we know, are often not doing well. That's a concern of Katerina and her love interest, who's opening a little shop also in the Fairview downtown. So I'm trying to work real world, small town problems into all of these books. You will feel like you live in a small town after you've read a few of my Fairview novels.
How long can you see this series going?
Well, there's probably about 5,000 people, 5 to 10,000 people in Fairview, just judging by the way I've written it so far. So if half of those are ladies, it could go on forever. Because everybody's got a romance. And I'm not doing just one romance per book. I don't want to give anything away. But in every book, there's the main character's romance, And then I've been putting in little sub-stories. I'm just going to go ahead and tell this. In the second book, Lori, it's called Lori's Love Life, and it's about a nurse, and something happens to make her decide to change her life. And let's see how not to, I don't want to give any spoilers, but there's an older nurse that she works with at the hospital, decades older, certified old lady, retirement age. This lady is going to find love in a very unexpected way that shocks everybody. And I just absolutely love that it isn't just the ravishing light young beauty who gets love. It's the old lady with the gray perm who works at the hospital and has for decades. She is just as worthy and able of finding love as the pretty librarian that's a lot younger. No. And you're going to see that in every book. Somebody who isn't maybe who you think of as being the heroine of a romance novel, but she's going to have romance too.
If you're like me, you have fans that get angry with you. Well, not angry, but they'll sort of, you mean you ended like this? You did like, tell me, how are the fans perceiving your books? Because I know you do the cliffhangers. I know you do. How does the fans react to that?
My own sister texted me early on, and she wanted to make sure that this one particular dog didn't die. And she said, I'm crying. She said, if you kill off this character, and she wanted to know, the dog's gonna be all right, right? And I'm like, well, Tracy, you'll just have to keep breeding. She's like, if you kill that dog off.
How often do you get out and do book signings and tours and things like that?
I'm just starting the process, so I'm open to that, but I just published the first one, and I'm just getting ready to publish the second one. It's all done. I've got the cover ready. I just have to make a few more preparations to get it launched. And I thought what I would do is I'm going to start doing the major push after I get number 3 out. Number 3 is going to be called Katerina's Love Charms. We've got Molly's Surprise Ending, Lori's Love Life Cure, and Katerina's Love Charm. And once I've got all 3 out, that's when I'm going to start making my publicity push, because I want people to be able to read all 3. My thought is that if you were to take all these books together that I'm going to write, it will function as one huge romance novel altogether, because one will start where the other one ended. You can start with reading any of them and they'll make sense. But if you want to get the full Fairview experience, you'll start with Molly and then read them as they come out.
Excellent. Because see,
children get older. You'll see people's children that you met as young children go off to college. You'll see people that you met mid-career, retire. You know, it's a common group of characters. It is everyone who lives in the city of Fairview, the small town of Fairview, will end up being seen again and again. There's not all new characters in every book.
What made you decide to write a series of books as opposed to standalone books?
I really like my small town idea of Fairview because I don't have to reinvent a whole community or secondary characters. They're already invented. I've got Fairview. By the time you've read as much as I've written, you'll know the town area, you'll know the hospital, you'll know the local dive bar, the Clipper. A lot of action takes place at the Clipper. You'll know a little bit of the history of the founding of the town, because that will come up again and again. And so I've already got this place, and I've already got some of the characters. You know, all the ladies go to Mabel to get their hair done. Everybody goes to Ashley at the bar when they need some advice or want to hear some hot gossip. Lori, at least as far as the Molly book goes, Lori shows up in the Molly book, and she's always chasing after some doctor. All Lori wants to do is marry a doctor. She might get something even better than what she wished for, though, in her book. She basically fixes what's been wrong that's kept her from being able to have a serious relationship, and that's why it's called Lori's Love Life Cure.
How does it feel to have a book that's out, that you got another one coming and people are reading it and people are receiving it? How does it feel personally?
It's a little bit different for me, probably, because when I was the editor of my small town newspaper, I had a weekly column, and I also helped write the weekly editorial. And before that, I wrote actual news stories. So I always had people reading my writing. So I probably had more readers at the newspaper than I do as an author. Of course, I'm hoping over time that would change. But I was always having people read my stuff and react to it, sometimes angrily in the case of local editorials. Hopefully no one gets angry at, well, I don't know, my sister's already mad at me. She's afraid I'm going to kill off the dog. And another person was upset because she wanted to know what happens to Molly. And I said, well, you'll have to read Lori's Love Life Cure because Molly is in it. So you're going to find out a few things that you might have wondered about when the Molly book ended. Don't worry, she's still Lori's friend. So in Lori's book, of course, Lori and Molly still talk. They still go to the Clipper. They still do things together. So we'll find out a few things that you think, well, wonder how that's going to end with Molly. Don't worry, she's in the Lori book. She's even mentioned very slightly in the Katerina book. And I think she'll probably, she's still going to be the librarian. 5 or 6 books down the line, somebody's going to be going into that library and is going to say, oh, hi, Molly, how are you? And Molly will say whatever's going on in her life. So everybody loves Molly so far. So far, people really like Molly.
So where can we buy your books? Where can we get your books from?
At this point, I'm just selling them on Amazon. Just look for Sophia Sinclair author, or actually you can just search for Molly's Surprise Ending. Either way. Yes, I'm very findable online. I have an author's page on Amazon.com. I also am on Facebook and Instagram, and I have a very, very new fledgling YouTube channel that I hope people will check out. And on it, I've made a couple of what I hope are funny videos, and I invite people to follow me there too.
Thank you. Now, this is the portion of the interview where, as we wrap up, I always give my authors the floor if they want to give advice, if they want to, whatever you want to say, the floor is yours.
I just want to ask everybody to read books. My book, someone else's book, mysteries, classics, romance, political books. I really don't care, but read. That's how we pass down human knowledge in our society. And we're losing the ability to do that. Everybody thinks that they can just scroll through their phone and see what's going on in the world. People have largely given up on long-form fiction. They want to just scroll their Instagram feed, and I get it. I do all these things too. But pick up a book and read it. And if you've got kids, let them see you reading. I don't care what they see you reading, but let your kids see you reading. I raised 2 kids who are fantastic readers that read for pleasure. And I've got a grandchild who just absolutely loves for me to tell her stories and loves for me to read books to her. And I hope that she's also going to have a love for reading because it does good things for your brain. And it does good things for society when we have readers. So read a book.
All right, thank you.
There's something I can give you in exchange for everything you give to me. Read my mind, you make me feel just fine. When I think my peace of mind is out of reach, the scales are sometimes unbalanced, and you bear the weight of all that has to be. I hope you see that you can lean on me and together.
This is Bert Sanford with the headlines. 2 men were arrested today in a carjacking ring that Who murdered Bert Sanford on the air? It's a murder so gritty, investigative reporter Mark Alexander comes out of retirement to expose a conspiracy surrounding Bert Sanford's assassination. Catch Late Murder at 10, the reprint, coming April 30th. She is the queen of my existence. She is someone's black mother, someone's black daughter, someone's black sister. In fact, who are you to disrespect our black sisters? The ones who bore our children, cooked our meals, and kept our two cool selves out of jail. Have you checked out How to Lose a Black Woman, the second printing? Same Bruce Williams with an updated story and more heart than the original. You can check out the second printing of How to Lose a Black Woman for only $14.95. You can check it out from these booksellers, your favorite bookstore, and even on Kindle and Nook. And as always, let your writing fuel your spirit. Welcome back to the show. Our next author is Marianne Meeder. She is a local author who loves her some blues, who loves her some Cardinals. She just loves St. Louis. But she also has a lot of great self-help books that can help us out about not being able to sleep, finding love, being gluten-free. And she's just she's new, for someone who's very new to the author game, she knows what she's doing and she really knows her stuff. So, here she is.
Probably my mom. It's kind of an interesting story. My mom was a writer, but she died when I was 7, and I never really knew that until I published my first book. So it's a cool story. A friend of mine challenged me. I'm a coach, and a friend of mine challenged me to write a book about life coaching, just to showcase, what I do for people, because sometimes people don't understand what coaching is. And so they challenged me to write a book. And I love challenges. I think challenges are great when people push you. So I decided to write about a problem I had solving, and that I had a problem sleeping, insomnia, and I had problems waking up exhausted, not knowing what was wrong. And so I wrote my book, and it came out a very motivational book, not just about sleep, but about taking your life back and how we all have a God-given destiny and finding our passion in life and how all pieces fit together. When I published my book, my brother says to me, "Did you know your mom was a passionate writer?" And I was like, "No," because they just one thing I didn't know. She died when I was young, and I never knew that till after I published my first book. So so I'm excited to be an author now. I just published my second book this week.
So tell me before we get into your second book, tell me a little bit about your first book.
Yeah, so it's called Insomniac Freak: Sleep Like a Baby and Wake Like a Champion, and it's written in a journal style, and it's reflective journaling about the problem I had sleeping. I go through my journey talking about, I went to the doctor and a sleep study and all those kinds of things. But really, what I really did is I did a thorough self-examination of what was missing in my life and what was broken. And there's a lot of heartfelt just vulnerability. And, if you don't sleep chronically for like a year and you're sleep deprived, it takes a lot of work to fix it. I had to, I saw acupuncturists, I saw a doctor. I actually had to go to some physical therapy. And but more than that, I discovered what was missing in my life is just not fulfilling my passion and the call on my life that I felt I had. I was settling for a job that didn't really suit me. I had a job where I drove around in a car all day. People were like, "Were you an Uber driver?" I'm like, "No." I had a job I had to be in 5 different locations in one day, and the job was just stressful for me because it didn't suit my passion, which is to coach people and help people. So I quit the job. I actually was living in a larger city at the time I started to write the book. I was living in Chicago, and I moved to St. Louis to be closer to family, and I love St. Louis.
Wonderful, wonderful. Before we get into your next book or anything, tell me what you love about St. Louis so much.
I love the people. The people are down. Well, my family lives here. I have my nephew and my niece. The people are down to earth, and they're so friendly and open, and it's easier to get around. The city has so much culture and vibe, and I love music. I'm passionate about music and art, and I feel like there's just a lot of culture in St. Louis. But so much so, I find the people to be down to earth and open and friendly.
Wonderful, wonderful. Do you see yourself writing more in St. Louis?
Yes, absolutely. I just published my second book, and I started a third. I'm writing a series.
All right, wonderful. Tell me about your next book.
Well, the second book is called Dating Freak: Believing in Love Again. And this one, I'm calling it the Freak series because it's very unique. I actually write about a problem that I have, and I don't know when I start to write the book how to solve the problem. So I'm pretty much putting myself through work and exercises and all kinds of things to solve the problem, but then I'm writing it for other people who have the same problem. So this one I had to be very vulnerable. I had to look at my love life and say, okay, I'm single, I'm not married. What is missing in my, what's not working, and how can I help other women? And so it's a lot about belief in our belief system, and I realized that I just kind of sabotaged my dating relationships, and I think a lot of us women do. But what I did in this book is very unique. I did something completely different, is I made it into a workbook. So there's actually exercises for women in the book to like increase your presence in life, fulfill your bucket list, find out what what you really want to do in the world, and how you can be more confident and good at it. And then I also have, I made up a dating game, which may sound funny, but the dating game is actually based on how you can motivate yourself to change your behavior. And I think for women, it's all about sometimes we take care of everybody else around us. We put ourselves last, or like life balance and all of that kind of stuff. So taking risks and putting yourself out there and not fearing rejection. So it's a lot of encouragement. All my books are motivational and creative writing, but it's totally like a motivational book to help people change their behavior to get an end result. In this case, the second book is for women to find love.
Wow.
The dating book.
So I guess everything is the Freak series. Everything is all self-help motivational. I love that.
Yes.
I understand. Well, I understand the motivation is you had problems, so you're writing about it. Was there any other motivation to help you write these books?
Well, yeah, I think I have a spiritual motivation because when I start off with my problem, it's generally something I don't know how to solve, and I dive right into it, and I'm a big believer. I'm a believer in faith, and I'm a believer in just our spiritual lives. We're physical, emotional, and spiritual beings. We're not just, physical beings. And so I just kind of dive into my problem, and I see how it all relates together. Our lives are kind of like a wheel or a tire, and when one area of our life is out of balance, then the rest of it can be out of balance. So if your career is toxic or drains all your energy or highly stressful, you don't have as much energy left over, to go out and find relationships. Or if your mindset, if your heart's broken from the past and you've never gotten over it and let it go, or failure. I look at all those kind of components like failure and how to setback. Maybe something happened in the past and you've just never been able to let it go, and you keep going back to that place. Well, this person hurt me, or I failed. I dated the wrong people, or I failed to find love, and so you kind of doubt yourself. Maybe your confidence is off, or your belief system is off about something.
Okay, awesome. So now you kind of leaked that you're working on a third book. What's the third book about?
This one's called Gluten-Free Freak, and again, it's a free series. I recently became gluten-free and dairy-free, not because I wanted to, but because I had some stomach problems that were pretty serious. So this one is a book about, it's a lot about my journey of when I first, and I had a lot of, there's always a struggle, but then a victory. I had a lot of trouble with joint pain, and I didn't understand it, and I decided to give up gluten and wheat, and then I got rid of the joint pain. But along the way, you have to realize you can't eat what the rest of the world, I think I call it gluten freak, finding your way in a world full of pasta. You go to parties, you can't have the pasta or the cheesecake or whatever, and you have to find alternatives. So, but in each book, even though it's about one thing, I always relate it to everything else. So I talk about how when I gave up, it's a mindset struggle, and when I started to give up the wheat, and I talk a lot about what do you eat, it's practical. But then, how does that relate to the rest of your life? Like, just to get your joy back in life, and to let go of anxiety or whatever it is that's stopping you, because it's all related,
Well, what it seems right now is you seem to be writing about a personal journey in each book, but you always end up helping people, talking about your journey. How does that feel?
Actually, it feels so empowering. It's so exciting. And I didn't know what I was doing the first time, and I had 3 of my good friends read my book. And my one friend said to me, she said, "You have such a strong voice." And I'm like, well, I was like, what's a voice? Because I'd never written a book before. And I didn't even realize it. But yeah, that's because I'm a coach and I'm an encourager, and I love to motivate other people. And so much of what, helps us, helps other people, be set free. And I think what I've really learned is vulnerability is just to connect with people. Like, we all have struggles, right? We all have problems. And so just, the more vulnerable I feel like I can be, the more I can help other people. And I'm so happy to do that.
Awesome. So how are your fans receiving you?
Awesome. Like I said, my first reviews on Amazon, and it was so interesting because several of my readers said, "Wow, I don't have a problem with insomnia, and I read your book, and it's really about life." In fact, my first original beta reader said to me, "You could call this book like a book on the success principles or something," but I'm like, but all of life relates to everything else, right? So if I have a problem sleeping, I don't just pop a sleeping pill. I mean, there could, I talk about, my love life and my food I eat and, the TV shows I watch at night, like all of it, my mindset, it all relates together. So yeah, the readers are so encouraging to you as an author just to give you feedback, and they love the motivation, and I feel like it's a gift I have that, to be honest with you, I've discovered later. I found my voice later in life, and when my first book came out, my brother told me that. I had a picture of my mom in the living room, and I just cried, and I was like, thanks, Mom, for giving me this gift. It's just something that I'm so happy to share with the world. And even at the age, I'll be honest, I'm 56, and I wrote my first book at the age of 56, and I share that with excitement so that other people who maybe, I know so many people want to write a book, and I'm just like, just do it. Just don't hold yourself back, because it really unlocks a lot of potential inside of you. It releases a lot of what's inside of you.
When you're not writing books, you're a professional editor. How did you get into professional editing?
Yes, well, I've been a teacher for 22 years, so my background's in education, and I just started after I wrote my first book. I discovered I have a gift of writing. I've always been good at writing, but the creative writing was exceptionally my passion. I just met a woman who had a publishing company in town. I just started to edit books for her, and I find that I love to help people, find their voice. And I've done developmental editing where I help people with flow of writing, or just grammar editing, and I find it fascinating to read other people's books as well, and just to give them feedback. And my favorite thing to do is, like, as an editor, is not just the commas and the colons and semicolons, but to give them that word of encouragement at the very end, just because they're about to publish their book, to say, hey, what I really loved about your book is this, and just, to give them that boost of confidence. Because I remember when I first published my book, I was so nervous. You're kind of afraid to put it out to the world because you don't know what the response is going to be. So I just love to be super positive and encourage people as they make that final step to move forward. That you're going to, you as an author, a first-time author, I feel like you really step into your destiny, because writing is a gift. It's a calling, and you're stepping into a new platform, a new venture in life. It's so exciting.
Well, it's just like having a baby. And I tell people this all the time. Your books are like babies.
Exactly. Totally.
So you have to, when you're writing, you're raising them. When it's time to send them off into the world, meaning it's time to be published, it's kind of hard to send them off in the world. So, yes.
Yeah, that's so true. I was so scared to let mine go.
For someone to start professional editing, how would they get into it?
Well, I think you have to have some experience with writing and grammar, and I think that you might need some practice, perhaps, and there's maybe some books you could read on different styles of editing, and I think if anyone's a good writer, just to begin to practice and get feedback from people, it's a good way to get into. You can start small. You can there's websites like Upworks and things where you could edit, like, instead of editing a whole book, you could start by editing a paper or an article. Start with smaller things, and then once you get the feedback from people, like they like what you've done and it's done well, that kind of boosts your confidence, and you can build your skills up from there.
See, that's awesome. That's awesome. So have you been on any tours? Have you done any appearances, any events?
No, and I'm dying to do that, especially with my dating book, because I want to go out and do some public speaking. And so I'm, fairly new to St. Louis. I'm trying to figure out where women might be. I could go find an audience, because I would love to just talk to an audience of women, and talk about, just be able to encourage and motivate them. So yeah, I'm looking to do that more. I really believe, and I'm not 100% sure, but I think, because I had this creative idea about the dating game in my book, I think I might be the only dating book out there that has an actual live dating game in it. So I think it's something new and very creative. So I'm so excited to share that with women, because it's just, it's just something to motivate women to help, help them to stay focused on their end goal is what it is, really. Yeah, yeah, and it's so funny. I think it's the kid in me, and also I'm a coach. I'm like, well, they've done studies that, like when you tell me like I've got to get online and fill up dating profiles, like it just sounds like work, and I've done a lot of it, and it's so time consuming, and we have all of our lives to juggle. But when you use the word game, like let's play a game this week, and at the end of the week there's a reward. I'm thinking, oh, now my brain files it in a different category, and I'm like, that sounds fun. And instead of creating the resistance against myself, like, oh, it's too hard, I don't want to do that, then all of a sudden I'm all in. I'm like, yeah, let's play a game. That sounds fun,
The word game actually sounds fun. So yes,
Yeah.
I truly understand. So, from my next question is, how can we get to know you? How can we buy your books? Do you have a website? What can we do to know you?
Yeah, well, my books are just mostly available on Amazon. I don't have a website. I'm so new at this. But the first book has been on Amazon for a year, Insomniac Freak, Sleep Like a Baby, Wake Like a Champion. And my name's Marianne Meeder. And then the second book just went live this week. It's fresh, hot off the press live. I'm waiting on my proof copy, which should arrive in a few days, for and it's Dating Freak. But I believe they're both linked together on Amazon. So pretty much just Amazon.com is the only place that I'm advertising right now.
Okay. Do you have any social media that you're on besides?
Yes. Oh, yes. Thank you for asking. I'm on Instagram, and I'll put up a lot of videos, like short videos on Instagram where I'll be sharing actually some of the dating exercises and some of the dating highlights on Instagram. So Instagram is a great place to look for me.
Okay. And my final question, in which I always give my authors the final word, whatever they want to say, words of wisdom, whatever you want to say, the floor is yours.
Oh, that's so sweet. I guess if my final words of wisdom, I would just say that I've discovered in my life that so much of life is about just making the first step toward the journey of what you want in life, that anything is possible. You can create anything you want in life, and that, never hold yourself back. Just believe in yourself with, all the I'm always at a loss for words, all the power that you can, and go for your dreams. Like, don't hold yourself back. Yeah.
Baby, I can't wait
Welcome to HD's Two Cents. Today I want to talk about relationships because I've been married 5 years and I am very happy. You want to know a secret to the best relationship? There are no secrets. Basically, if you can just find someone compatible enough for you, that you love, and that loves you, you're very happy. The problem we have a lot of times in relationships are we have lists. I don't like lists. People have lists. Steve Harvey's got a list. Everybody's got a list. I'm sorry. If you go by a list, you're never going to be happy. He's got to look like this. He got to be like that. You're not going to even get everything on the list. Actually, and that's not even, and even when you find somebody that's not everything on your list, that's not even settling. You know when you'll find the right one. Because the right one is not going to fulfill everything on the list, but they're going to just simply do one thing that the list will never tell you. And that's make you truly happy, make you truly smile. Will just fulfill everything you've been looking for. So if you're just looking for the big freak, or you're just looking for somebody that'll do this and do that, and that's all then you need to find a very well-rounded person, whether it be male or female, the best for you. You can't go by looks, you can't go by the way people treat you. I tell people all the time, you can be the most beautiful person in the world and have the most ugliest personality. So, long story short, if you have someone, appreciate them, treasure them, and trade my life for anything in the world. So, that's it for the Office Corner. Peace, hair grease. Stay tuned next week for 2 more authors. And as always, let your writing fuel your spirit, and God bless.
Sitting here in this chair, waiting on you, oh baby, to see things my way. But not a word do you say, you don't even look my way. Yeah. Girl, I'm spending my wasting my time, talking till I'm black and blue. Oh, can't you see?